Good afternoon and welcome to Monday Mystic Live at 5, where we look at the spiritual principles behind our everyday experiences. Today we are looking at conspiracy theories. It's called an anatomy of a conspiracy theory. An anatomy is taking things and figuring out how they work, what makes them work. This is a huge topic, but we're just going to touch on it today, and over time we will go more deeply into it. We're going to look at some of the metaphysics behind it and see what, if anything, can we do to deal with the problem when so many people are buying and believing the conspiracy theories, because they are ultimately dangerous. I'll bet you could probably name 10 conspiracy theories with the snap of my fingers, you know? We got climate change, we've got political issues, we've got vaccination issues. Need I go on? You can keep going. Even to the Flat Earth Society. Now, can you believe that there are people that still believe the Earth is flat? Or how about the moon landing? Moon landing never happened. You know, they just had that set up in a theater somewhere. Set. What do you call that? Where they make movies. Anyway, they had that set up there. Um, and we say, well, why would someone want to believe a conspiracy theory? Well, that is really important, because when we talk about the four quadrants of consciousness, we have the line where the above part is the spiritual part, it is intuitive sensing, and the lower part, which is human thought and human emotion. Now, see, a conspiracy theory. Let me just read you the definition here. It is a belief in a secret, influential organization responsible for an event or phenomenon. Generally, it's about the government, but it can be about any kind of secret scientists or, whatever, anything like that. And uh, we have to not count on what is coming from human conscious to face our beliefs on. Rather, we have to look up in the higher spiritual realm. A lot of conspiracy theories, people believe them because it gives an answer. It gives something that they want to. It makes them feel secure. Conspiracy theories are very often based on fear and distrust. And the really crazy part is the people who are spawning and spewing conspiracy theories are some of the least trustworthy people in the world. Does that mean they're evil? Well, they're behaving evil. But in our philosophy, we believe that everyone is a child of God. And that sometimes they just don't act like it. They're not what? They're not conscious. Life is consciousness. So conspiracy theories are kind of unconscious. It's just a theory. It's somebody spewed it out, and some of them are so wacky. And so therefore it is unconscious. And then we have enlightenment, which is consciousness. Life is consciousness. So as long as we're in the lower realm of unconsciousness or limited consciousness or human carnal consciousness, we are susceptible to conspiracy theories. In order to, the first thing I want you to know, and this is really important because it's something I learned over time. um, I just can't figure out that somebody can believe something really crazy to me. And so I get so frustrated, I will go into a debate, an argument, with conspiracy theories. If you have people friends, family members, loved ones who are conspiracy theorists, it is do not debate them. You can discuss, you can, ask questions or stuff like that, but the minute you start to debate, you're fighting for who's right, you put up a wall. So if we want to live with someone who is a conspiracy theorist, we have to learn that it is not your job to awaken them, just like anything else. If you can discuss calmly, that's fine. But the minute you start debating, you are fighting with them. So what makes them work and that's just it. See, conspiracies tend to take complex things and make a simple explanation instead of, for example, with the vaccines and people that wouldn't get the vaccines. Well, we had highly educated, trained, experienced specialists in immunology who were scientifically getting to the bottom of this to create something to fight this virus. And the people who are anti-vaxxers have heard theories, conspiracy theories, about why you shouldn't vax. And I'll tell you something, the minute I hear something, we talked about it yesterday, I'm Johnny Five, I want to go see, and well, where did that come from, and is that the truth, and what's the research on this, and who said that, and who is very important. Did you take English in school where you had to write stuff, and they told you when you write anything, you want to know who, what, when, why, where, and how? That works perfectly with understanding conspiracies. Number one, who is spreading this theory? Who came up with it? Many people followed a group that used a single letter of the alphabet that I'm going to not discuss that particular letter. And he was hidden. He wanted to be anonymous, and just wrote these really crazy conspiracy theories. So if someone is telling you about this conspiracy theory, you want to what? Do an anatomy. What makes it work? Okay, so who told you that? And also consider who's telling you that. And then what? What is the exact story? Does it have any substance? Another one is why. Why would someone construct some kind of story like that? Is there any power in it? Is there any money in it? Someone's going to profit by it? Oh, I mean, they make a lot of jokes. Now, here's a very interesting thing. I know a lot of spiritual people who are spiritually connected to the universe in a way that they can actually communicate with people who've passed on. I know this to be true because I've seen it. That they can do many things. They're on a spiritual level, they're very high. And I know a bunch of people who are not on a spiritual level, and that's when they call those charlatans. Charlatans, they work strictly in human consciousness. Conspiracy theories operate completely in human consciousness. And when we shine the light, we illuminate them with truth, they disappear. Now, it's very tempting to want to go to a fortune teller. Well, first of all, someone can tell you an inclination about your personality, but the minute someone gets real into fortune telling, especially, it's like, when is my lover going to come? Or how can I win the lottery? In other words, trying to manipulate the universe, to manipulate God. If someone tries to tell you they can do that, you better start running unless they've got some kind of basis behind it. On the other hand, people can read our energy because we're all energy. You can read energy. Did you ever have you're walking down the street and someone comes walking toward you? And sometimes you feel a very good, warm energy. And sometimes you feel an energy that is saying danger or now if that's coming from your higher consciousness, you know, then you can just be aware, do what you got to do to keep yourself safe. If it's coming from human judgment because they've got, I don't know, too many tattoos or piercing or dirty clothes or they look homeless or they look worthless, then you're misjudging them when we discern through energy. That's another. I went way off track. I did not mean to go there. Let's get back to where we belong. We belong in conspiracy theories are based on nothing. Well, a theory is based on something. It's an idea that makes sense. So once you have a theory, you have to test it. See, conspiracy theories cannot stand up to a test. When people are spewing off their stuff, how often are they called on to show me your receipts? Remember back in the day, if you wanted to exchange a pair of socks, you had to have your receipt. Today we're pretty good about it. Stores are pretty good about accepting it. But the receipt is the evidence. It's the proof. So if someone, getting back to who'd you hear it from? What's the story about? Why is the story the way it is? Are they blaming the government? Is there some secretive? The minute you hear secret, you better watch out. And then who, what, when, where, when, is this something been around that's long enough to have been tested and proven? Is it a long-term belief, a short-term belief? Why would somebody do this? Now, some people do it strictly for personal power. It makes them feel important, makes them feel big. And some people do it because they want to be in the know. Now, a very common type of conspiracy theory that we have to stay away from is gossip. If one person tells you a story about somebody and you take that story, you didn't see it, you didn't hear it, you don't know anything about it, but you spread it to someone else. Oh, I know it's true because so-and-so said. I read it on the internet, so it must be true, right? Remember that? No. Conspiracy theories cannot stand up to tests. Okay? And then we get to the how. We have to know how. How did they do this? Because if you know how they did it, there's a possibility of being able to undo it. What was the thought behind it? This is so much bigger than you can do in a little bit of time, and I did go off track. I apologize for that. So I'm just going to kind of take a quick look at my notes. So we tried to look at the internal workings of a conspiracy theory. Where did it come from? What was the source? Who was saying it? Why were they saying it? Where were they saying it? Were they saying it like in a secret thing? Were they standing in front of people? And boy, standing in front of people and spewing it off of a platform, you better be careful with that one. So you look at the fixings of it to see how it works. If there's someone you can have a discussion with, then discuss it. If it winds up to be a debate, headbanging, hurting your relationship, don't go there. Don't go there till you could possibly discuss it. It's very hard to change someone's mind when they believe a conspiracy theory. Here's the thing. Someone tells you a conspiracy theory, do your own. Who, what, why, when, where, how. Okay? Figure it out. You can do the research. And Scott Peck said that the root cause of sin is laziness and narcissism. Don't be lazy. Do your research. And then when that person comes to you at another time and brings up the topic, you can say, well, I was thinking, I looked into that a little bit, when they are receptive to hear you. Well, that's my time for today. I know it probably got a little confusing, but we're going to touch it little bit as we go along. Another day, but not today. So for today, have a bright, beautiful, better than average day, and I hope to see you soon.